Chosen one, you didn't land here by chance. Something greater has guided you to this exact moment. Out of everyone in the world, you're the one reading these words, and that means something powerful is stirring within you. You can feel it, can't you? That tug in your chest, that whisper in your mind telling you that you're meant for more. And you are. There's a reason you've always felt different, like you were made for something bigger than the chaos around you. That's because you were. You are not average. You are not here to blend in. You are here to break through. Right now, the universe is leaning in, waiting for your next move. This is your moment to rise, not tomorrow, not someday, now. You are not being asked to be perfect. You are being called to be present, to trust that fire inside you and follow it. Even if the path ahead looks unfamiliar, you've got something rare, something divine, and the world is about to see it. So take a deep breath, feel that energy building, and know this. You are exactly where you need to be. And what happens next? That's what will change everything. Let's begin. You've always sensed a flicker of something beyond the noise, an ancient rhythm humming beneath the surface of ordinary days. That rhythm is now rising, pulsing through this very moment, inviting a shift unlike anything before. Pause whatever else holds your attention. Press that symbol of resonance. Align with the pulse by becoming a subscriber, and imprint the number 55 below. That number isn't random. It's a frequency trigger, a key that opens unseen doors. If you've been led here, it's not by mistake. You'll feel it in your chest, a knowing that this is yours to witness. But be warned, this message will sift the ready from the reluctant. If your inner compass is calibrated to truth, you will feel compelled to reach the final second of this message. Those who drift away weren't meant to carry the weight of this knowing. For those who stay, transformation is inevitable. Now it begins. Do you step forward? This moment belongs to the awakened. The clock has already begun. A rupture has occurred, a break in the static. Through the thick layers of routine and repetition, an unignorable signal has cracked the silence. It's not advice, not encouragement. It's a declaration, a directive that moves through your core like an earthquake beneath calm soil. Leave. Now. The sanctuary you've built has served its purpose. Its walls now echo with stagnation, no longer sheltering but stalling you. The pulse of something larger, immeasurable and divine, is pushing you into motion. It doesn't ask. It commands. You may feel a strange vibration in your gut, or a shimmer of urgency in your thoughts. That is not fear, it is recognition. Everything that anchored you has started to loosen, not to punish you, but to pull you toward your horizon. The time for hesitation has dissolved. What waits ahead has already begun taking shape in your absence. You are not being abandoned. You are being summoned. Step beyond the screen. Join and help light the way for others. Stillness has become a mirage. True security exists in forward momentum. These are not idle hours. They are catalytic. The hands of time are unlocking passageways, and standing still means stepping away from your own unfolding. This isn't the climax of a crisis. It is the first page of a divine emergence. The landscapes around you are shifting. Familiar comforts have become veils. The place that once kept you warm now dulls your light. The echo is unmistakable. Move. Not later, not eventually. Now. Trust the architecture being laid beneath each step you haven't taken yet. The terrain you knew is being rewritten, and with it, your old definitions of safety. The essence of this moment is not danger, it is alignment. And alignment requires movement, no matter how unfamiliar the path may seem. A silent shift has been brewing beneath the surface of your daily rhythm, an undercurrent pushing against the walls of comfort. What once felt safe now feels too small, too dim for the brilliance you're meant to step into. There's been a subtle knocking in your awareness, a persistent echo urging you beyond what's familiar. That sensation isn't an illusion. It's the signal of an inner breakthrough waiting to be answered. The surroundings you've grown used to carry the residue of a version of you that is ready to be released. Growth has outpaced the space around you. The familiar now acts like gravity, keeping you bound when your essence is ready to rise. This chapter isn't about abandonment, it's about realignment. Let go of the attachments that only mirror your old story. The change ahead is tender, but it is sacred. It calls not for panic, but for trust. The shift is real. The expansion is now. The unknown may appear as a fog, but in truth, it is a gateway to the clarity you've long awaited. Every great beginning is disguised as stillness, and in this fleeting threshold, a deep pulse of awakening begins to hum. A new frequency is unfolding within you, subtle, yet unmistakable. It is not a return. It is a re-emergence of what was buried under years of noise and forgetting. In these hours, time bends in your favor, amplifying what was dormant and clearing the path ahead. The universe isn't waiting. It's already set in motion a current meant to carry you closer to your highest rhythm. The spark of renewal has already been lit. Expect surprises. Not everything will appear as you imagined, but the transformation will be undeniable. This space is made for clarity. It demands silence, reflection, and courage. Through this unfolding, forgotten strengths reawaken. The intuitive knowing, the quiet power, the voice within that once led you through darkness. As the hours dissolve, your old shell begins to crack, not from pressure, but from purpose. What remains will shine in ways you've never known before. Feel God's love stirring within you. Don't let it stop there. Hit the super thank you button and sow a seed of $20 or more. That simple act can ignite hope, heal hearts, and carry His love further than you imagine. You were made to shine His light. This is your moment. Be the miracle someone's been praying for. Let heaven move through you. The course of your journey has turned, and what awaits is not accidental. This moment has been tailored for your rising. Now is not a test, it's a threshold. The design laid before you is simple but vital. Shift your ground, shield your flame, and deepen your roots. Each movement holds purpose. Creating distance is an escape. It's a signal to life itself that you are ready to move differently. Guarding your essence doesn't come from fear. It is an honoring of energy that must be preserved for what's to come. And connection, real connection, will be your anchor. Linked to the quiet of nature, to the breath of presence, to the core of your being where all answers wait. Stepping away from the familiar is an act of trust. Release the roles, environments, and cycles that have served their time. This moment requires solitude not for isolation, but for preparation. What approaches demand space to bloom? Let this be your still field, where the next version of you can take root. There's a strength in stillness that many mistake for retreat, but true silence is a form of power. It's in the quiet spaces, far from the interference of man-made clamor, where the most sacred instructions are whispered. Not all movement is forward, and not all pause is surrender. When the outer world fades, the inner signal becomes loud, precise, and purposeful. Stepping away doesn't mean giving up. It means conserving what is sacred inside. And beyond that silence, connection is the spark, the wild unknown, untouched by the noise of convenience and speed, holds a reservoir of clarity. When one enters a natural rhythm, free from wires, screens, and static, something ancient is remembered. There, identity isn't distorted, it's revealed. The land itself speaks a language beyond words. Its surfaces aren't just landscapes, they are ancient scrolls of healing etched in terrain. Within its textures lie maps to remembering. The soil beneath bare feet hums, with a current that knows your name. Not everything must be explained. Some truths are felt through quiet immersion. The textures of untouched earth do not need translation. When surrounded by breath that hasn't been filtered and ground that hasn't been paved, there's a realignment that begins to stir. The further one steps from the artificial, the more clearly one sees what has always been pulsing beneath the surface. This is not about nostalgia, it is activation, a sacred reunion, an elemental reminder of what power feels like before it was forgotten. Step beyond the screen, join and help light the way for others. Within this communion, power does not feel loud or boastful. It comes softly, like returning to oneself after a long forgetting. The pulse of the deep, the shift in temperature, the slight bend of grass underfoot, all of it conspires to remind you of your magnitude. These aren't metaphors, they are invitations. The further one moves into this untouched space, the more the clutter of past burdens loosens its grip. In this sanctuary, burdens are absorbed and transmuted. In this sanctuary, the self expands. There's no need for resistance when the very ground is reminding you. Healing is not earned, it's remembered. When all else falls away, this natural communion is what remains. The unfolding begins not with answers, but with presence. The directive has been released. Movement is now non-negotiable. What lies ahead doesn't require panic, only precision. Not every step needs to be mapped. Only your commitment to taking it matters now. The hours ahead are more than digits ticking. They are a living corridor through which your awakening will pass. This isn't about assembling belongings. It's about collecting inner tools. More than objects, what matters now is awareness. What has held you down emotionally? What loops still spin in your thoughts, anchoring you in a version of yourself that no longer fits? Cut the ropes. Shed the layers. Not because of fear, but because your container has grown too small. This passage is one of refinement. Even if you feel unprepared, everything necessary is already within. Consider this your initiation into expansion. The path ahead has already been cleared. Your only task is to enter it. No elaborate plan is needed. What you carry in clarity and courage will serve more than any material thing. Choose to leave behind the roles, places, and agreements that have expired. The invitation now is spaciousness, for the next expression of who you are is waiting to emerge. Leadership isn't granted, it is uncovered. Sight isn't taught, it is remembered. And the healing you seek is not elsewhere. It is you, returning to your undistorted form. This departure is not escape. It is reclamation. Let each step be a declaration. The dormant is awakening. It's hard to comprehend that something so immense could be woven into your very being. But it is. Hidden beneath layers of routine and resistance lies a current of immense capability, waiting not to be learned, but remembered. This transformation is not an addition, it is a reunion with the part of you that already knows how to illuminate, to restore, to decipher what others cannot yet see. Guidance begins inward. The essence of leadership isn't in commanding others, it's in being undistracted by doubt when navigating your own course. Feel God's love stirring within you? Don't let it stop there. Hit the super thank you button and sow a seed of $20 or more. That simple act can ignite hope, heal hearts, and carry His love further than you imagine. You were made to shine His light. This is your moment. Be the miracle someone's been praying for. Let heaven move through you. What emerges through this process is a foundation built on inner alignment. Decisions come with ease, not because of external approval, but because of the deep resonance within. This isn't a power that demands attention. It is one that silently commands it. Its origin isn't force, it's divine fluidity. And when it arrives, others recognize its glow. Restoration, too, moves beyond mere mending. It is the reactivation of an ancient force carried in your voice, your nearness, your unseen presence. You become the mirror through which others remember their own strength. Your perception, once hazy, now sharpens. The surface world no longer clouds your view. You will begin to feel the layers behind the moment, read the unspoken, and decode the unseen. These are not new gifts. They are old truths, stirred awake at last. A deep renewal is already unfolding. This is not merely change, it's a reset at the core. A recalibration of your system that goes beyond healing and ventures into complete reanimation. Have you noticed the longing to reclaim a sense of vitality? That electric wonder once felt in early moments of clarity, now dimmed beneath the sediment of burden? What's coming isn't a return to the old, but a brighter incarnation of what you once touched, elevated, refined, enduring. The current that once moved you has never vanished, it only slept. Now it stirs. This renewal is holistic. Your essence will quicken. A sense of presence will fill your mind with sharpness, your body with fluid power, and your soul with a flame that steadies rather than consumes. The fire was never gone. It was buried beneath weight you were never meant to carry. As you step away from the systems that dulled you, a clearer, deeper fire ignites again. It speaks in pulses, not in words. It moves through every part of your being. Your years have no power over it. This force has no age. It only waits to be claimed. What you are stepping into is not nostalgia. It is reinvention. The world will no longer seem faded. It will speak to you, vivid and alive, in moments you once overlooked. This transformation won't just restore what was lost. It will reveal what was always waiting beneath. Possibility will return, not as fantasy, but as certainty. There comes a point when the familiar becomes a wall instead of a mirror. As you enter this sacred shift, the truth becomes unmistakable. Comfort, though tempting, has reached its limit. The cycles, the conversations, the environments once filled with ease now ring hollow. Growth needs room, and the presence of well-meaning voices may now echo with limits, even if unintentionally. What once grounded you now restrains. To rise, space must be carved, not from resentment, but from reverence for who you're becoming. True solitude isn't defined by the absence of people, it's the presence of purity. It's an intentional return to your undisturbed rhythm, far from the expectations that once formed your cage. In this silence, no roles, no labels, just essence. It's not rejection, it's remembrance. Familiar energies, though comfortable, often echo versions of you that no longer exist. To hear what truly matters, the volume of outside narratives must be turned down. This passage requires detachment, not as escape, but as preparation. Distance clears the fog. Stillness sharpens the signal. You are not abandoning connection. You are making room for divine clarity to be heard without distortion. This isolation is not exile, it is alignment. And in this still space, the sacred instruction arrives. When the outside world is quiet, your inner compass begins to speak louder. These next hours are a sacred crucible where distraction dissolves and destiny becomes audible. Step fully into the unknown. In the absence of noise, your path will echo like a drumbeat across the void. What you hear in that silence, trust it. It is yours. An invisible alignment has brought this moment to the surface, not by chance, but by precise orchestration. The hour now unfolding holds a sacred weight. It is not random. Everything is unfolding with a rhythm beyond logic, and resistance only delays what has already been set in motion. Doubt and fear may rise, but they no longer belong in the vessel you're becoming. Trust is not weakness. It is the highest form of strength when the terrain ahead is still forming beneath your feet. This design has long been crafted. Now it reveals itself piece by piece. The path does not demand perfection, only presence. Momentum matters more than certainty. Even when nothing seems clear, each step carries you closer to a version of yourself that has always been encoded in your being. The ticking of the clock is not pressure, it's invitation. These next hours will stretch more than time. They'll stretch perception, open hidden layers of knowing, and offer a glimpse of what's been buried beneath the static of the everyday. When the pull of divine rhythm takes over, it is not chaos, it is orchestration in motion. What feels unfamiliar now will soon become the foundation of your clarity. You were never late. You were always moving at the speed of destiny. Within the noise of human pace lies a forgotten language, one that can only be heard in the presence of nothing else. The world moves fast, but wisdom does not shout. In this rare pause, everything you've ignored begins to speak. Stillness isn't a gap in action, it's where meaning gathers its strength. As you release the compulsion to respond to every voice but your own, a sacred channel opens. One where clarity doesn't come in words, but in undeniable knowing. Silence is not emptiness. It is full of instructions only the quiet can hear. Aloneness, when chosen with intention, becomes a crucible. The solitude you enter now is not detachment, it's devotion, a return to the center. Not every revelation arrives through conversation. Many are birthed in the hush between breaths, in the still gaze into nothingness. To walk forward with conviction, the noise must be cleared. The next answers won't come from books or others. They will rise like embers from within. This space is where old layers fall and the deeper self emerges. Let the silence cradle your transformation. Let it teach you that even when the world is still, you are not. A deep stirring has begun beneath your surface. Something long seated is preparing to break open. The hours ahead are not ordinary, they're catalytic. What once slept quietly inside you is beginning to rise, not with force, but with purpose. This kind of rising isn't about hierarchy or control. It's the emergence of a steady flame, one that lights the path not just for you, but for those searching through shadows. Influence is not your aim, integrity is. This kind of strength doesn't lead through volume, but through vibration. Feel God's love stirring within you? Don't let it stop there. Hit the super thank you button and sow a seed of $20 or more. That simple act can ignite hope, heal hearts, and carry His love further than you imagine. You were made to shine His light. This is your moment. Be the miracle someone's been praying for. Let heaven move through you. What awakens now is a presence that speaks even in silence, a resonance others feel before words are spoken. The leadership being birthed is not a title, but a transmission. You will notice a shift, not just in how you see yourself, but in how others begin to orbit your clarity. This isn't a call to dominate. It's a call to stand rooted in truth when others are shaken. The next phase of your journey is one of reflection and illumination. You will hold light not to be admired, but to guide. The ones drawn to you will not need persuasion. They will simply feel the alignment. This emergence doesn't require applause. It requires steadiness. It is sacred responsibility. And in these unfolding hours, your embodiment of that role will begin. Not as a choice, but as a remembering. Something ancient is rising through the core of your being, an echo of a forgotten rhythm that once flowed effortlessly within you. This isn't the discovery of a new gift, but the revival of a sacred force long buried beneath layers of noise and neglect. What's stirring now isn't merely energy, it's memory. A memory of your ability to mend, restore, and recalibrate what has been fractured. As you step deeper into this sanctuary of stillness, that current grows stronger, more undeniable. It begins not with force, but with resonance, moving like a pulse through every fiber of your being. Healing now takes on a new form. It's no longer confined to wounds of the skin. It reaches into shadows held in silence, into burdens you were never meant to carry alone. And in this unfolding, your own transformation becomes the source of others' renewal. The warmth in your presence, the charge in your words, the stillness you carry, it all becomes a healing field. Your gift, reborn, is not what it was. It's evolved. You are no longer bound by old limitations. What once dimmed your light now amplifies your reach. This isn't reclamation, it's elevation. The power moving through you will be felt in spaces you haven't yet entered. Let yourself be refilled. Let yourself overflow. This is not just for you. It is the force that will ripple outward, illuminating lives you haven't even touched yet. A new sense is awakening, a vision that does not rely on sight, but on knowing. What's unfolding now is a shift in how you perceive reality itself. The surface no longer deceives. The unseen becomes clear. You will begin to notice patterns in the seemingly mundane, feel truth behind words unspoken, sense energy that others miss. This is not illusion, it is refinement. Perception becomes a bridge, allowing you to navigate not just through life, but through meaning. What's revealed through this awakening are layers of understanding once hidden beneath logic and doubt. The world will no longer appear as chaos. It will begin to feel like a code, one you've always had the key to. You'll feel the silent threads that bind everything together. You'll begin to interpret the deeper signals, seeing what's real behind the masks, what's eternal behind the temporary. This awareness will shift how you speak, how you act, how you move through time itself. And what you see won't just guide your steps, it will help lift others into their own vision. Insight now becomes service. Your expanded view becomes a map for those who are still searching. And this gift, this deeper seeing, is not just personal. It's a responsibility you carry with reverence. This is the ignition point, but not the peak. What begins now is the stretch into a future that's been waiting for you to arrive fully. The threshold you've crossed is not a destination, but a gateway. From here, every step carries more intention, more weight, more clarity. The change inside you is not only internal, it is recalibrating how the world receives you. Your energy speaks before you do. What you radiate becomes a call, an invitation to others who are ready to rise. The journey from this point is not one of solitude, but of purpose. You've been equipped not just to grow, but to lift. The transformation you've just experienced is not a climax, it's a seed. And what grows from it will shape more than your path. It will affect the lives orbiting your frequency. From this moment on, you walk differently. The alignment you carry is no longer fragile. It is integrated. This doesn't mean perfection. It means presence. You are becoming the embodied answer to the questions others haven't yet asked. Every move you make now will be infused with a greater sense of destiny. You are not stepping into a role. You are returning to the truth of who you've always been. And now the world begins to notice. Not because you demand it, but because the light you carry is impossible to ignore. There are moments when the horizon begins to pulse with unfamiliar tension, signals of a coming shift not born from weather or world events, but from the unseen currents moving through your life. What approaches is not chaos for the sake of chaos. It is recalibration. This force does not knock to be welcomed. It enters to realign. Its arrival may stir unease, but its purpose is precision, to dismantle what no longer supports your emergence. What once gave you structure is being stripped away, not as punishment, but as preparation for expansion. This isn't destruction, it's deconstruction, so that what is eternal in you can rise unburdened. The ground beneath old beliefs will tremble. Patterns, attachments, even identities may loosen. But in this rearrangement is the grace of clarity. You'll be called to face truths you've avoided, emotions long buried, impulses you've silenced. This is not confrontation, it is revelation. The familiar may fracture, but in the fragments, space is born for something vast and unshakable. This moment is not here to break you. It is here to break open the next version of who you're becoming. Discomfort is a sign that transformation is working.